Peace, peace. This is Ogula Ra, and today I wanted to do a quick video on things I should have known before working with the master at the crossroad. This video is really towards the ones who want to work with the master at the crossroad. A lot of us know him as Legba, Legwa, you know what I'm saying? Kafu, right? So before I get into that, I would like to say welcome back to my loyal subscribers, future subscribers, and ones that are returning. It's been a while since I did a video. I had a lot of personal endeavors that I had to pretty much get current. So I'm back. So I wanted to do this video. I feel led to talk about this video. I'm actually in a parking lot next to a crossroad. So this gave me some inspiration to actually talk about what I want to speak on. So let's get into it. All right. A few things I should have known before working with the master of the crossroad is, before I get into that, I'm going to say, when working with these energies, working with the energies at the crossroad, there's many energies that's there besides the master at the crossroad. There's other entities, spirits that cross the intersections and pretty much linger at the crossroad, other than the master at the crossroad. That's one. Okay. Now, my experience of working with the master at the crossroad, I can remember a few days when I was working with spirit. I got into doing spiritual baths, right? I got into doing spiritual baths. I think I might have did it maybe like 5 times, five nights in a row. And I've been hearing different people talk about, if you want to work with the master of the crossroad, you have to go on a Monday, 12 o'clock, midnight. You know what I'm saying? If it's a certain skill or something that you want, you bring that, and you have to do that, I think 3 Mondays or something like that, 12 o'clock, right? In my case, I didn't bring anything. I just want to interact with the energies and the spirits. So before I even did that, I was doing spiritual baths. And I've been doing the spiritual baths consistently pretty much every week, but particularly on Mondays, I would do the spiritual baths. So from there, I can remember going to sleep. My dreams got more lucid, I would say. Even though I'm a dreamer, I have dreams all the time. My dreams was becoming lucid. And the more it was becoming lucid, I can remember one time I was in my room, just sitting in my room, and I seen this image clustered on the wall. And the image was a man. He had on a straw hat, and he looked at me. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. And I could remember teleporting from being from upstairs and teleported downstairs. But then I woke up, right? That was the first interaction with the spirit. Didn't necessarily know who he was. That was the first interaction in that aspect, right? Then later on, in the dream state, I was going to the grocery store, getting a few things, and I walked out, and I looked to my left, and I seen this man, older man. It was brown skin, and he had on a straw hat. And I went up to him, and I was like, oh, you the master of the crossroad, you Papa Legba, right? And he was like, yeah. And he nodded his head, he smiled, said a few jokes or whatever. And when this happened, he looked at me, and then he looked towards the road. He said, yeah, a lot of people want to go on this path. They demonize it. It's far from the truth. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go ahead on this path. And mind you, now this is during the daytime. I'm ready to go on this path, do the work or whatever. So he looked at me, did a body scan. Then he touched me. He touched my forehead, woke up, wrote it down or whatnot. I kept note of it, right? So by this time, I was like, okay, I felt led to go ahead and go to the crossroads. So when I went, I was like, all right. I'm like, all right, I had all my items I needed. And 12 o'clock came, right? Reading this information about, on Google articles, 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock came, got in my car, parked it, was at a crossroad, did, did the prayer, had the smoke, had the pennies, had the candy, pitted them in all four corners of the crossroad. And I left it, said I wanted to see him. Now, mine, I already had a dream about him, but I did the petition at night. So, came home, right? So maybe 2 nights later, I started having the lucid dreams again. But in this scenery, it was at nighttime, and then the scenery was more so like the nightlife, like red light district. It felt like I was downtown, right? And it was anytime I was there, was always these roads, intersections, and everything was like the energy was fast paced, and the energy was, like I said, red light district. It was like a high sense of crime, I would say. That's the best way I could put it. If I could put it to a movie of the scenery, would be like if you ever watched Sin City, I would say Gotham. You know what I'm saying? Gotham. Those would be the scenery of what it was. And it was kind of confusing because I was like, okay, where is this taking me? And every time I turned, there was people on every turn. And I could remember that was the first dream, right? At night. Then a few days later, I had another dream to where it was nighttime and I was in this empty warehouse. There was like leakage, and you could have seen like these drawings on the wall, and there was these candles, and the candles was burning. 7-day candles was burning, where the flame would be larger than the 7-day candle. The wax would be solid, then it would turn liquid form, and then all these ultraviolet lights would be flashing from it. And to me, it was very lucid. It was very lucid. You know what I'm saying? It was very euphoric. You know what I'm saying? The energy was real euphoric. It was high. It was beyond my comprehension at that time, right? So I really couldn't put the pieces together on what was actually transpiring, what was actually going on. So a Monday came, you know what I'm saying? I lit my candles. I was communicating with Legba, and I didn't got it, and I was basically asking him, I'm having these dreams of being in this environment where it was real chaotic. A lot of things was going on. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So from the aspect, what I got out of that message of what he was telling me is that when you're working with the master of the crossroad, I would say people know him as Legba, people know him as Legba, right? Anytime you're dealing with the master of the crossroad, that aspect of the master of the crossroad, you would work with him during the daytime, okay? Now, when you're dealing with the darker aspect, or the street life, or the red light district, or the nightlife, that's another aspect of what they would say Eshu, or in Voodoo they would call him Mek Kafu, dealing more with a different energy. You know what I'm saying? Very chaotic, very dangerous. The energy is dangerous. It's fast paced. There's so much going on. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some wit about you in that energy. And what I'm really trying to get with for the ones who's just getting on this path, knowing the difference when you're dealing with the master of the crossroad, you have to be very careful on the information that you get on these blogs, even books even say, go to the crossroad at nighttime. Because when you do this, you're opening yourself up with more of a chaotic energy, okay? And it's more of a chaotic energy, and when you open into the realms of that frequency, things in your life can actually be chaotic. And this is where people would tend to feel like they're being tricked. being tricked or whatever, but it's not necessarily you being tricked. You're opening yourself up to an energy and being responsible for the energy that you open yourself up to. Okay? So, one things you should know, or I should have known, is that when you're dealing with the master at the crossroad, you would deal with him during the daytime. And when you start working with it during the daytime, when you get advanced, you start working on different things, and then it may be in your path to deal with more so the darker aspect of the master of the crossroad. So I wish I would have known that before dealing with the master of the crossroad. Now, two would be more so people say that Legba is a trickster. Yes, he is, and no. And the reason why I say that, I'll just give an example. Let's just say you petition him for something, right? You'd be like, okay, say if you have a job and you may be making minimum wage, right? And you need some reliable transportation, right? So you go to him, telling him, okay, I want a vehicle, and you'd be like, I want a luxury vehicle. You may want a Lexus, right? But your income is not enough for the payments for the Lexus and the car insurance, right? So you petition them, you get the car, right? And let's just say your hours may be cut, or you're just not making it, you're only making enough just to pay the car note, but not the insurance, right? And you have the car, what I'm saying, you late on your payments, you get mail about your payments being delinquent, what I'm saying, and they may repossess your car. And having that experience, you may be thinking that Legba, SU, Legba's playing a trick on you. He's giving you what you desire, but it's being taken away from you. And that's not necessarily the situation. A lot of times, the reason why people feel as though they're being tricked is because they're really tricking themselves or outdoing themselves of wanting something, but not holding their obligations to what they want. And a lot of times, he will give you what you want, knowing that you won't fulfill that obligation as a lesson. Because when you go on this path, you have to be fully aware of your actions and your commitment. And what I'm saying, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stay to the lakes and the rivers that you're used to. TLC. But the thing is, when people say that he's a trickster, spirit, yes and no. And the reason why I say that is because you have to take full accountability for what you're wanting and fulfilling and keeping that thing going. Because if you don't, you will lose the very thing that you asked for. That's two. The third one, what I should have known before working with the master at the crossroad is this. Everybody's path on their spiritual journey will be similar, but it will not be the same. Okay? A lot of people think when they're working, I thought working with him, that, when I go on this path, I'm going to have the same experience and journey as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Having the things that you desire, everything could be married. But a lot of times, when you petition the master at the crossroad, you may go left, which dealing with water, dealing with emotions, dealing with intuitiveness, dealing with the maternal, dealing with the feminine energies, right? You may go that path, but your position or your bloodline of what your purpose on earth to do may be totally different than what the next person mission and path will be. Okay? You may be more so the patriarch for your family to heal emotional trauma, to heal abandonment, you know what I'm saying, to heal that particular bloodline when the female aspect been enslaved, may have been raped, may have been their children been taken of them, and you have to heal that void that they have and heal that particular bloodline of your family. Okay? It's really about bloodline, it's really about family lineage, and it's really being an inspiration to other people to go on a path, but it may not be the same. And that's one of the things that I thought would have happened when dealing with Ogun passing. Okay, so when dealing with the master at the crossroad. So I would tell individuals who's dealing with the master at the crossroad is that, one, working with Legba, you would work with him during the day, right? Two is more so talking about how people would say that he's a trickster when he's actually not. You only will be tricked when you're tricking yourself and believing that you can receive something without putting the work in or taking the responsibilities of what your contract agreement is. The third one would be, you know what I'm saying, everybody's path on the crossroad would not be the same. It would be similar, but it would not be the same. And most importantly, when you're dealing with crossroad energy, you want to make sure you properly cleanse yourself and have pure intentions. You got to have pure intentions when you're dealing with the energy at the crossroad. So this video is just, a quick video on something that I wanted to, expound on the things I should have known before working with the master at the crossroad. Hopefully this video will give insight on new viewers, or insight on what to do. Again, everybody who served these energies may not necessarily be the same. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to offerings, you know what I'm saying? They say he like toys, candy, things like that. And some people, but what type of candy? Everybody's candy may not be the same. He may want peppermints from one person, and when you're dealing with peppermint has a cooling effect, and it's also a substitute of opening up your roads, right? Versus someone else, he may want Boston baked beans from you. And each offering that you give to the master of the crossroad is something that they like, but also something that can be used for your spiritual development as well. So everybody who works with those energies serve him differently. Okay, so this is just a real quick video on talking about things I should have known before working with the master at the crossroad. So this is Ogula Ra. Peace.